Welcome back, little angels. This is our special Black History Month episode where we'll be paying respect to everybody from Dr. Martin Luther King to our current president, Barack Obama. Stay with us.
There have been a lot of events that have helped pave the way for Black history. But those events, we need to make sure that we are very clear about the fact that those are American history. Black history is not just Black history, it is America's history. And we need to pay respect to that all the time, 365 days of the year. You know, we celebrated in February, but these events didn't occur just in 1 month.
Right.
They occurred throughout the year, throughout many years, throughout decades. So we need to make sure that we are always paying homage and paying respect to that. You know, it's an important thing.
Yeah. A fun fact is the reason that we celebrate Black History Month in the month of February is because Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, his birthdays are both in this month. Our birthdays are in this month too, but we don't celebrate it because of that.
February 28th.
17th.
Angel's birthdays. But, you know, that's interesting. I did not know that at all.
Yeah,
I didn't know
either.
that there was any kind of correlation between the two, but it's interesting to find out. We all know the importance of Martin Luther King and everything that he did for Black history and just the movement itself.
Right.
But did you know that he thrived in all his studies and was valedictorian of his class in 1951 and elected student body president? He also knew how to enjoy college and really have that fun college experience. But nonetheless, he completed his PhD and was awarded his degree in 1955 at the age of 25.
Wow.
Yeah.
25. You
That's
know,
25.
like, no, I can't even imagine or like think like, yeah, 25, I'm gonna be getting my PhD. No
21,
big.
that's almost 25. I'm just about to get my undergraduate
Yes.
There you go.
I'm right there with you though. You know, like I'm the same way. I could not really fathom that, especially with everything that he had to overcome in order to get his degree at that time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't even know, like, I might can have my doctoral degree by the age of 26. I hope so, but that's like super steep. He had to, but he did go to school early, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He's
He
a
started
genius.
school early. I know, right?
Yeah.
He was super, he was super smart.
Yeah.
But still,
I know, that's amazing.
but there's so many accomplishments that just everybody has accomplished. You know, academically, he was done with his doctorate's degree at 25.
Yeah.
In sports, I know that there's a lot of accomplishments too.
Right.
What are some of those?
Oh yeah, so we can't talk about Black history without talking about a lot of the athletes who have contributed to our Black history, as well as Jessie Owens, who does have a movie coming out, so everybody should go see that. It's called Race. I seen on my Snapchat, obviously, Snapchat's just so popping. On my Snapchat, my friend went to go see it when it first came out, and it was a super duper long line. So I'm super excited to go see it. She said that it was really good, and he was amazing. He went to Ohio State University. He competed in the 1936 Berlin Olympic Games. There, he won 6 gold medals by himself in the long jump, the 100 meters, the 200 meters, and the 400-meter relay, which is also known as a 4x4. He broke 2 Olympic records along that way. And then he was not supposed to compete at that Olympics. Adolf Hitler, he did not want any African Americans to compete at the Olympics, but he did, and he won so many events. And it was also said that Adolf stormed out of the stadium, like after the 100-meter dash, and did not congratulate him at all, obviously. And also another athlete that we could talk about is Miss Wilma Rudolph. She was amazing. She fought through polio. Not only did she fight through polio and walk, she was the fastest woman in the world. So that's amazing.
Wasn't she a Tennessee native as well?
She was a Tennessee native. She was actually born in Clarksville, Tennessee, where we are now. She wanted to go to Austin Peay State University, like we do, but she was not afforded that opportunity. So after being denied her access here, she went to Tennessee State, where she ran for Coach Gentry, and she excelled in everything. She was actually the youngest person to qualify for the 1956 Summer Olympics.
Wow.
And it was in Australia, so she was pretty amazing, as well as all the athletes. We have the Olympics coming up, so you guys watch track and field. Watch all of them. I usually watch track and field, but I mean, I watch gymnastics. I love it, but obviously, since I am a track and field athlete, I love track and field athletes.
That's very true. You can relate to it.
Exactly.
Another African American who has just is so amazing is the beautiful Sister Rosetta Tharpe. She was an African-American singer and songwriter who was popular in the late 1930s. She was also known as the original Soul Sister, which I think is the coolest title ever.
Yes.
Yes.
I wish
you
I
guys
could
can
have
me
it.
that from now.
Okay. Sorry, she already has
Amia,
it.
I know.
She was actually one of the first performers, let alone an African-American performer, that was willing to cross the line between sacred and secular by performing her music Light in the Darkness for nightclubs and concert halls with big bands behind her. Tharpe pushed spiritual music into the mainstream and helped pioneer the rise of pop gospel, beginning with her 1939 hit, This Train, which I think is so cool because pop gospel is huge now, and the fact that she started it is really amazing.
Especially since on Sunday we just had our own gospel choir come and perform here, you know, so that's interesting. We're still seeing it around.
Yes, and it was amazing. We sung a lot of different stuff. Oh, I'm in the gospel choir here at Austin Peay G.O.D. And we sing pop gospel all the time. I mean, you got to think of people. You got to think of people who are so big off of that genre of music, like Mary Mary or both of Mary Mary. So it's just so great to see somebody who actually created that genre and see it thrive so well here in 2016.
Yeah. And she was an early influence of figures such as Little Richard, Johnny Cash, Chuck Berry, Elvis Presley, and Jerry Lee Lewis. And finally, you guys might know the song Hound Dog that Elvis Presley sings. You know, we all know that song, Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog.
Right. Yep.
What's really cool is that she's actually the one who wrote it and first performed it, but Elvis gets the credit for it.
Wow.
Which, I mean, they both did an amazing job for it, but the fact that he's a white male and he got the credit.
Yes.
Right. And like I was saying, it happens more often than we think. Not just with music, but with a lot of other things too.
Yeah.
So,
Very true. Well, make sure you stay tuned because up next we have our very own panel here, and they'll be discussing all these topics that we've discussed, plus a bunch more. So stay tuned.
Let's go pee!
Let's go pee!
Let's go pee!
Let's go pee!
You can only learn so much from listening to lecture. That's why our professors invite students to work with them outside the classroom. From finding solutions to biofuel problems that limit green energy potential, to developing a mobile app that lets first responders use cell phones to document the damage of disasters, to curating art shows with world-class creatives who share their New York know-how in the classroom and in the Big Apple. Our students enjoy the kinds of opportunities here that lead to more opportunities out there. Austin Peay State University.
Thank you guys for staying tuned. Today we are joined by Professor Burke, Stephen Johnson, Amia Butler, and Shaterra Pryor.
To start off, we'd like to hear a little bit about you guys. So why don't you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, hi, I am Professor Burke. I'm a fifth-year professor here at Austin Peay, originally from Syracuse, New York.
I'm Stephen Johnson, a junior here at Austin Peay, HHP major. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee.
I'm Amia Butler, a host here on Austin's Angels, and also a track runner here at Austin Peay and the vice president of NAACP.
Hello, I'm Shaterra Pryor. I am also on Austin's Angels. I run a segment called Asking All Them Questions. I'm a broadcast media major. And, yeah.
All right, well, let's get straight to it. First off, our very first question is, have you ever experienced a moment when you felt judged by the color of your skin or anything along those lines?
Well, I'll go first. I would say earlier in my life when I did go to private school from second grade all the way to fourth grade, I was one of two black students in the entire elementary. My aunt went to the high school, it was all connected, and the middle school, and she was the only black person in there. So it wasn't that I was just treated outlashed like badly or anything, but it was very different for me as opposed to those other students. And I remember a particular time when I was in third grade, we had a homework assignment, in class, and we were to look up these words in the dictionary, trying to figure out how to look them up fast. And I thought I was looking them up fast, which I was, and as well as the other students. But a lot of times being an African American, you do have to do over and beyond more than your white counterparts. So at the time, I didn't understand that, obviously. And I was looking them up more than them. And I was unable to go outside that day because she said I wasn't looking them up as good. She was just nitpicking on everything I was doing. And then from really that point on, I knew that I'm not the same. Mm-hmm. So that's more of something that happened to me.
You know, that's interesting. And, you know, when we originally talked about this, I thought about something that happened young, you know, when I was young. But I wanted to sort of bring it a little bit closer. When I was in graduate school, I remember I was on spring break, and I had a 7-month-old with me, a little boy. Oh. And we were in the movie theater, and the movie theater was almost completely completely empty. And so, you know, I had the baby with me, and it was almost towards the end of the movie, and he started to cry a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I got up and I was walking him around, and I remember this woman just looking back at me, talking about, you know, these welfare moms and, you know, dropping the N-bomb and everything. And I mean, she was just going irate. And I had my baby with me, and so in my mind, I'm thinking, what am I supposed to do? Right. Mm-hmm. And I remember, you know, I saw to the end of the movie, and we walked out to the box office, mm-hmm. and this woman was going crazy at the manager and talking about these welfare moms out here taking up all the time. And here I am, this grad student, married, with a baby on spring break, and this is my one little bit of fun time. And so I remember, you know, I had to make a decision on what I was going to do, and I just decided to smile at her and say, have a nice day. However, the woman behind me wasn't so kind.
Oh, ooh. So she had what was coming for her?
She got what was coming for her from someone else. Yeah.
All right. There you go. Good. What about you, Stephen?
I'll take it back to a time when I was in my freshman year in high school. I went to a private school, and I played sports there. And, you know, I was at home, and I got a phone call, and I really couldn't tell who it was on the phone. I knew it was somebody from my team, on my team, but, you know, they kept just saying racial slurs and, you know, just hurtful things. But, you know, at that time, I knew I was doing something right if they doing stuff like that.
Right.
All right, well, we're going to move on to our next topic. Recently, there has been more attention brought to the lack of diversity in the Oscars and the hashtag #OscarsSoWhite. A popular figure, Jada Pinkett Smith, has brought attention to the fact that there is a lack of diversity, and many other celebrities have joined in with boycotting the Oscars.
With all this information that Ilyana just said, what do you guys feel about the Oscars?
Can we start with you, Shaterra?
I feel as if the Oscars, they come from a great standpoint, and I feel as if we do need to have diversity in everything that we do, not just the Oscars, but just everything. Just we need to appreciate more people, because, you know, the world is becoming more diverse. It's not just, you know, white people and stuff like that. Like with it brings me back to Hattie McDaniel and how she didn't even get to accept her award for playing Mammy. She couldn't even come on stage. They had to give her award backstage, and that's crazy, you know. And we lived in, that was back in the day, you know. So now, you know, we don't even have nominations for it. It's crazy.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, and thank you for shouting out Hattie McDaniels, who happens to be my soror. So, you know, I look at this and I begin to think that we have to realize that, you know, we are still having a lot of firsts in this society. So the question becomes, who are we looking for validation from? You know, is it possible for us to create an award show and to celebrate ourselves without having to seek validation from some external organization that's supposed to validate who is the best?
Correct.
Yeah.
Why can't we validate ourselves? Why can't we, award ourselves?
Right. And I mean, people will say, like, the BET Awards is an award show where, you know, other races, like African Americans, do get awarded for things. But I hate that it seems as if the BET Awards is like the scum of like the awards, and like, you know, the Oscars so high up, they're like the top, and the BET Awards, people tweet and say, you know, Beyonce didn't want to be there this year because they're just so unorganized, or Rihanna didn't perform, or it's always a bad connotation on those awards when those awards were created for us to, since we couldn't get not necessarily awards, but since we weren't recognized well enough in those other awards sceneries. We had to create our own things, and people like I hate to bring her up, but like Stacey Dash, like who is she? But, you know, she obviously didn't realize that, saying that we don't need those awards when we do, you know? So that's my take on it.
I think Stacey Dash is an example of how, you know, social media allows people without any education or credentials to to begin to have a platform and to become popular. But I agree with you, the BET Awards has gotten a bad rap over the years.
Right.
And the issue is that we have to begin to support those type of programs if you want them to be important.
Yeah, and my point on it, I do think it needs to be more people, you know, in the, as far as, you know, picking the awards for, you know, the Oscar, the nominees, you know, instead of, you know, have all white people, you know, you can get different races, you know, different. It just needs to be more diverse as far as, you know, selecting people.
Like mix it up.
Right. Yeah. And I hate to dwell on that question, but I just want to add something on. Because think about it. Do we really think there were no people that should have been nominated at a different race this year? Like, think of all the performances, all the movies from African Americans, Latinos, anybody else, and only people that are nominated were white people. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up.
Going off of you, Amia, saying that, you know, there was a lot more people that didn't get nominated.
Right.
And there was more races, Latinos, everybody. How do you feel about the hashtag Black Lives Matter versus the hashtag All Lives Matter?
I feel wonderful about the hashtag Black Lives Matter and how it was created. We just had Alicia Garza here talking about that subject. She was the creator behind the Black Lives Matter movement. But I'll piggyback off of some stuff that she said. One, why can't we just have one thing to ourselves? Why come it always got to be, you know, making the big thing of, okay, Black lives can't just matter, it has to be all lives matter, when that's just not the case. And the reason we say Black Lives Matter is because we've been told so long that we don't. So why can't now we empower ourselves, you know, Black Girls Rock movement, all of that, it's a problem now. Like, that we're not doubting ourselves, you know, we can't matter. This is what society is kind of like saying, like, we can't matter now. Like, we have to say, like, all lives matter, which is true, is great, that's what we're going for, but
it starts with different things, like, okay, Black Lives Matter. You have to realize that in order to realize that all lives matter.
Right.
Well, the reality is we haven't come as far as we think we have. Yeah. And so, you know, to say that Black Lives Matter, it is a bone of contention for some people, because the reality is that race relations in the United States have not improved as much as we think they have. Yeah. So there is going to be some pushback when someone says Black Lives Matter. I mean, we are not so far away from the Black Panthers, out here protesting and, you know, creating programs just for Black people in order so that children can eat. So we really have to realize that this timeline that we are putting upon ourselves to think that we are progressive really isn't that extensive.
That's true, and I'm glad you said that too, because a lot of times we do think that we have moved so far away from the time when we couldn't do anything. So, you know, we're moving very slowly. I don't know. It's just a hard subject.
Another thing that she said at the Black Lives Matter was that it amazed me how, like, she was talking about how we have to set an example. Like, okay, we used to think about, oh yeah, would we be a part of the Black Panther movement and stuff like that? Like, would somebody be a Dr. Martin Luther King? But like, now you can be that person. Like, now is the time where you can be that person. Like, I can be a Shirley Chisholm. Yeah.
And I think it's important, just to piggyback off of her, to realize that history is actually repeating itself.
Oh, yeah.
And the generation that you're in has an opportunity to use social media and just the access that you have to other people across the world to spread messages. When the civil rights movement was going on, you know, they were at the mercy of the white media, and, you know, there was some, you know, leaflets and things going around, but people all over the world didn't really know everything that was happening. Right. Now you have the opportunity to voice your opinion and let the world know what's happening.
And to me, I support both causes because, you know, as far as, you know, injustice for Black people, that's when I believe Black Lives Matter should be, you know, voiced out in the community, or whatever. But you know, I love people, so I believe all lives matter. So that's why I support both causes. But I understand why Black Lives Matters have come about due to the injustice in the communities.
Well, through social media, we've gotten messages to go out further than we could have ever before. Along with that, this year's Beyonce's Super Bowl performance was most talked about because she received a lot of backlash for what her song Formation stood for and the way that she portrayed it. While on the other hand, Kendrick Lamar's Grammy performance did not receive the same amount of attention. Do you think that this is a matter of the way society portrays male versus female in the media, and why?
Well, Super Bowl is the most watched event on TV, so that's automatically going to be. I don't even watch the Oscars. I mean, not the Oscars, but the Grammys. So.
But did you hear about his performance?
Yeah, I heard about the performance. You know, that was a good thing, but you know, the Super Bowl, like everybody watched that, so I can see that point.
But even then, the Super Bowl performance was amplified by social media, by the internet, just the same way that Kendrick Lamar's performance was. The internet, YouTube, you have it all. It's literally at your hands. So.
Yeah. But you also have to realize that Kendrick Lamar is almost still an underground artist. You know what I'm saying? Beyonce is mainstream, and you know she has a large African American following, but she has a large multi-ethnic following as well. So you know Kendrick Lamar is really the underground rapper who is listened to by hip hop. You know. People who really are into the music. So I think that's why she would get more coverage than Kendrick Lamar. Although I do think he did get adequate coverage for what, you know, he did.
One thing that me and Ilyana was talking about the other day was that, you know, Kendrick, he is appreciated in California, right? So, like, it also deals with that point of view or whatever. Like, you know, not a lot of people out here would listen to Kendrick because, you know, he isn't from over here, so California, you know,
West Coast.
Right. And so, but my standpoint on the male versus female is, I do think that that females are portrayed differently than men on the internet or in general, because there's this certain type of standpoint that we have to have. So, oh no, Beyonce can't do that because you know she's a woman, but it's alright if Kendrick were to do it, you know,
because he's allowed to have a standpoint on it.
Exactly, because he's a male.
I mean, I think also that Kendrick got backlash. I don't know, there were a lot of memes going around in which people were like, oh gosh, they're about to kick Kendrick off the stage. I also did not watch it, by the way. I didn't watch either of them until afterwards. So, but I think that we're looking at an issue in which we are just in this volatile time. And no matter what you do, someone's going to have a problem with it.
Do we think that we've seen progression, and what is the biggest defining moment of progression to you guys?
Yes, I think we've seen progression. You know, it's always room to get better in anything. So if that's how you got to look at it. So, but we have progressed as people, you know.
I believe that we have to start movements, I'm sorry, Stephen, but we have to start movements such as Black Lives Matter so that we can get awareness out so that we can further progress.
Oh, well, speaking kind of off the Black Lives Matter movement too, I think there has been progression, but that was one of a defining moment that sticks out in my head when the Zimmerman trial was going on and when he was found not guilty. Black people were mad. Like, it was a furious time. I know even in Nashville, they all got together and like stood across the highway and blocked off all the things. That was something I had never seen in my lifetime. My grandmother always told me about that type of stuff. It might happen in places like Chicago or bigger cities, but not in Nashville. So for us as Black people to get together and do that, I knew like for this next couple of years is going to be a lot. Like, people are going to be mad.
Very true. Well, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to our very special Black History Month panel. Make sure you stay tuned. You're watching Austin's Angels.
You'll find Austin Peay situated in the heart of Clarksville, Tennessee. But our reach goes far beyond our main campus. From our programs in Dixon and Springfield, to our satellite campus at Fort Campbell, to online programs students can complete from anywhere in the world, we're committed to providing higher education to every career shifter, ladder climber, military service member, graduate student, and traditional college student who desires the opportunity. Austin Peay State University. More opportunities here, more opportunities out there.
So we sent our field reporter out, Shaterra, to see if you guys really knew your Black history.
Let's check it out.
Black History for 500.
So we're here with our head angel, President White. So who was the first African American to win an Oscar?
It was Sidney Poitier.
I'm not sure. Viola Davis.
Oprah Winfrey.
Nah.
Sidney Poitier.
Was it Holly Berry?
I don't know. I have no clue.
That's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Denzel.
An Oscar.
Oprah.
No.
Oscar. Denzel.
No.
How many chances I get?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Oh my God. I was actually just watching a movie about this the other day. I really was.
Hattie McDaniel.
Hattie McDaniel in Gone with the Wind.
You're kidding.
What African American received the most Grammys?
Denzel.
No.
Who gets the Grammys? Grammys.
Singers.
It's not Beyonce, is it? It's not Prince, is it?
Oh, I don't know anything about the Grammys. I have no idea.
Was it a singer?
Denzel Washington. I think I'm going with Denzel Washington too.
Okay, so do you know that the Grammys, it has to do with music?
Oprah Winfrey.
Could it have been Ray Charles?
No, not that long.
Stevie Wonder?
Not that long.
Lionel Richie? Yeah, this is my These are my people.
Come on, it's so simple. Everybody knows this.
Michael Jackson.
I'm my boy MJ, Michael Jackson. Oh, is it Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson for sure.
Yes.
Lil Wayne.
I'd have to say Michael Jackson.
Yes, you're right. So, who was the first African American billionaire? All right. So A, Robert Johnson, B, Oprah Winfrey, or C, Bill Gates?
I will say Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah Winfrey?
Oprah.
Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah Winfrey. Is it Oprah?
Oprah.
I don't think Bill Gates is black, is he? But I want to say Oprah because that's the only one I know.
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates is not African American.
Oprah Winfrey.
No.
It was definitely Robert Johnson.
Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah all the way.
No, Oprah was actually not. Robert Johnson, he was the founder of BT. All right. And so before it became Black History Month, what is the observance of Black history called? A, Freedom Day, B, Slave History Week, C, Negro History Week, or D, Black Awareness Day?
Wasn't it Negro History Week?
Yeah.
Wasn't it just a week, like Black History Week?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go C on that one.
C, Negro History Week.
Negro History Week sounds terrible, but Negro History Week is going to be my guess.
C.
Black Awareness D.
The Negro Awareness?
Is it A?
No.
It's D?
No.
It was originally Negro History Week. It was coined by Carter G. Woodson, right?
Yes. In 1926. Who wrote the poem, What Happens to a Dream Deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun?
Langston Hughes.
I read this in elementary school.
Toni Morrison? And Maya Angelou, no, longer than that. So,
This a male or female?
Male.
It's a male. Langston Hughes?
Oh man, I actually know this because I had to do this in English.
It's a poet. Or is it a singer?
A poet.
Is it Langston Hughes?
Maya Angelou.
Maya Angelou.
Well, can I get a lifeline?
No, you can't.
Well,
You cannot get a lifeline.
Maya Angelou.
Maya Angelou?
I have read that poem before, but I couldn't tell you who's the author.
Maya Angelou.
Susie, she wrote a play about the raisin in the sun. I lost it. I don't know.
can I Google?
No, you cannot Google.
The same place. We was in the same place when we were in high school.
Yeah, that's not the answer. It's Langston Hughes. So, go ahead and sing the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air for me.
All right, give me the mic. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah. Here you go.
Born and right. On the playground is where I spent most
On my days.
Chilling out, Max. Nah, that's all I know.
Chilling out, relaxing out, cool.
Shooting some b-ball outside of the school.
When a couple of guys, they were up to no good, started making trouble in my neighborhood.
I got in one little fight. My mom got scared.
Did you move in with your auntie and Uncle Bel Air? I begged and pleaded with her. I begged and pleaded with her.
I whistled for a cab, and when it came near, the license plate said fresh with the dice in the mirror.
And if anything, I could say that this cab was rare, but I thought, nah, forget it. Yo, home's to Bel Air.
I pulled up to the house about 7:03 and I yelled to the cab.
Your host, smell you later. Look at my kid. I was finally there to sit on my throne.
As the Angels of Bel Air. Hey. Don't drop the mic.
Don't drop the mic. Don't drop the mic.
No.
We would like to thank our panel for being part of our show today. And of course, we need to give a special thanks to all the generations before us that helped pave the way for the America we have now,
Right.
you know, for the world we're getting to live in.
Yeah.
But that's all for now.
Until next time, Angels.